What an absolutely wild day. I had zero inkling that I'd be making a video prior to the only stream that I've done early in a very long time. But fortunately it got done, and yeah, if you guys didn't catch it, EW dropped a trailer for a new fishing game called Call the Wild theAngler, and I thought it looked pretty good, so I thought we'd shout about that some today. If you didn't catch Friday's stream or yesterday's video, my PC is just dying. The GPU in particular is on its last legs. I tried to record Classic today and I was running at 8 FPS. It was terrible. I had to go to Kylo's PC. By the way, that video turned out pretty good for tomorrow. I think you guys will enjoy that. But anyway, I partially chose lions because it's a slower hunting style. And if I walk and call the wild, it's pretty good. If I run, it can get a little stuttery. But anyway, that's why the graphic settings are so low. No lion joke. I ain't lying. Messed up. I usually do that. You are correct. Bottom boy, thank you for the 22 months, by the way. Changing my name to Colton Locke, the butt dialer extraordinaire. That's pretty good. I was curious if, like, genuinely, if you saw the trailer and were trying to call and say something about it. 'Twas interesting. What's up, Ben? Shut a diamond to Red Deer 15 minutes ago. Nice, Jake. Me and your PC have something in common then. This poor thing, and I was really hyped on Saturday, because I've been just obsessively checking the tracking number, because I know this PC, like, I can't stream Classic on Wednesday unless I have something else. It cannot run Classic. Saturday, it apparently, like, shipped, or a carrier picked up the package, whatever the difference is, and there's been no updates since then. I was really hoping it would kind of be, like, on its way, because I think it was between Wednesday and Monday. There's a pretty big gap in there where it could ship. I just hope it's sooner rather than later. Okay, in regards to theAngler, I think it looks great, but I think they need to finish working on the game they already have with its many existing issues. That's fair. I definitely get where you're coming from on that. I think what's kind of tough is that, like, I look back at the Hunter Classic. They would have at least started working on Call of the Wild in, I don't know, 2016, maybe even 2015? Classic at that point would have been 7-ish years old. Call of the Wild's coming up on 6, so it's probably about time they get to work on stuff. Maybe it is a little bit earlier, but the one thing, maybe this is just a me thing, but I thought it would be really cool because the environments match so well in Call of the Wild and in theAngler. Did I not? I was sure that was a good shot. Anyway, the idea of what I said in the video, like going out for, you know, a morning fishing trip and then an evening hunt, say, on like Silver Ridge Peaks, with a map that maybe kind of matches a little bit. I thought that would be a pretty cool thing with both games existing at the same time. Oh, really? That's interesting, Bottom Boy. I will be potentially driving to Pittsburgh, but at that point I'll have nothing better to do than talk on the phone, I guess. So yeah, I should also maybe mention that the reason that I'm doing this stream earlier today is I gotta go to the airport and pick up Kylo. What, in 2 hours? I think generally it is Hatcher, which there were a fair few comments on my video. I didn't get to read Expansive World's comments. Like I said, I had no intentions of making an extra video, so my morning has been, well, into afternoon has been pretty rushed, but a fair few comments were more or less to the effect of, like, why not just add it to Call of the Wild? In my opinion, the reason that it wouldn't make sense to do that is, number one, the game wasn't built with fishing in mind. And I can show you that pretty easily. If we just, like, there's no actual underwater. It's just, this isn't maybe the best place, but it's just like a layer of water and then ground. Like, there's places on Yukon Valley, Parque Fernando, you can just walk under the water. I think that's relevant when it comes to, like, having fish at different depths and stuff. If it's just a big crater, right? Because normally in Call of the Wild, nothing's in the water, so it doesn't matter. Or it floats across the top. To have things at certain depths and stuff, the game just wasn't made with that in mind, really. I just think they're better off, all the new animations, all the new mechanics, all the new models, they're better off doing it in a different game. And I think the game ends up better overall. One of my responses to one of the comments I mentioned in my comment section was this. If you remember how broken the game got when dogs were simply added, you can imagine a lot more major things breaking the game. So I don't want anything to do with fishing being added to Call of the Wild, and I think they made the right move. What's up, Cycle? I think they should make it to where you can swim. So here's what's tough about that. The Cabela's games used to do swimming, and this is where that line of realism versus fun needs to be kind of balanced. If you have a backpack full of hunting gear, you're probably not going swimming. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to drown all your gear. But at the same time, you probably want to be able to cross this annoying body of water in a game. It's a game after all. So I think they could add it. I think it would be a good move. It might be a little immersion breaking, but there's plenty of things that are already, not quite realistic. I don't know, Bottom Boy. Does this just stick with Call of the Wild and the Angler becomes the Angler? I don't know how how we name those things. It was bad enough when Old the Hunter just became classic because this was also the Hunter. Now we've got to Call the Wilds. I guess, good they stay on branding. Exactly, Hatcha. And that's what I think is, for me anyway, the biggest reason why it's best they didn't do fishing in Call of the Wild. It's introducing so many new things that this game simply wasn't ready for. I think they're best off, and I think both games end up being better overall for it. And again, I'm just gonna play both. Like, I absolutely intend to do fishing and hunting in the same video or in the same stream or whatever. I think that's gonna be fun. Whatever that is. Did I see correctly on Steam or on their Facebook page or something later this year? Like, if that's the case, I'm impressed. Because that leaves us less than 6 months for that to happen. I want to get a diamond crawfish. We had crawfish in the creek. I did, for the first bunch of months we were here. Never saw any, and then all of a sudden there were a couple there. So I guess that's a plus for future fish bait. Super hyped about the Angler, as am I. I really think they made the right moves in making it a standalone game. How good the game is remains to be seen, but I think they're moving in the right direction with that. Wolverine, thank you for... while it says new member, I know that's not correct. I was hoping it was going to say the total duration, but either way, I appreciate you renewing the membership. I hope they have the ability to carry pistols and you have to deal with predators in the Angler. That could be a neat little thing, even if it's snakes or something. It said end of the year. I'd be impressed, and I also wouldn't be upset if they pushed it back to get it right. Speaking from experience with expansive worlds, sometimes they gotta do that. Sometimes they gotta, I think, and again, I've talked about this. It's not the devs' fault normally. It's, whoever's higher up sets a release date and they try to reach it, and sometimes it's just not feasible. So sometimes they gotta reconsider on release dates and stuff. But anyway, hopefully it's by the end of this year. That could be huge. The Angler Call of the Rod? I actually don't... Well, that could be misconstrued, but I don't hate that name either. Call of the Wild, The Angler is the name of the game. There's the trailer there in chat if you want to go and check it out. Did you ever go fishing? If you did, what did you catch? Yeah. Growing up, I did a good bit of fishing. Dad used to take us. There was a sportsman's club that... It was really cool. They were really... focused on getting kids outdoors and stuff. So for the first month of trout season, for instance, their pond was kids only, so under 18 only. We used to bass fish there a lot, trout fish obviously. I guess if you're asking what my biggest fish is, in just pure size, like a 3 or 4 pound catfish, but catfish get giant, so that's not a relatively large fish. I don't know what technically would be my best, but I've had a foot-long rock bass. I don't know what it weighed, but that's rather thick for them. If they use the same metal system Call of the Wild does, I ain't buying it. That'll be the worst thing they could do. I wouldn't hate the metal idea. I'd actually prefer it in fishing over hunting. But I think they're better off going more down the lines of the Hunter Classic, or I think what Fishing Planet does. just, well, essentially randomizing length and weight, because that allows you to make incremental improvements, and it also allows, I don't know, like, fishing and hunting, there's that same thing, right? Maybe for bass fishing, if you eclipse a 5-pound bass, that's a big deal. But if you get a 4.9-pound bass, you're still super hyped, versus if you do that in game, maybe those same things apply. If there's a diamond versus a gold bass, though, all of a sudden the gold's not good enough. What did that say? Now everyone... Flantarctica, by the way, I see that. What's going on? Now everyone wants to add the animals from Call Out to the Angler. Facepalm, leave the game separate. I do understand, like, why everybody would want them to be... combined. What's up, Scarecrow? Do you have a video coming out on that? I saw the trailer come out, I was like, oh no, Scarecrow's probably still asleep. Time on the West Coast is not fair for such releases. Anyway, like, I understand why people want them to be combined. Like, hunting and fishing have been in the same game before, Cabela's has done it and stuff, but on the scale and to the degree that Expansive Worlds is trying to do it, obviously with Call of the Wild and well, I should say the Hunter Call of the Wild, and with what they appear to be aspiring to do with the Angler, I think they are probably best leaving them separate. There's just so much that goes into it. Oh, did you just Scarecrow? I've had a heck of a morning. I gotta go get Kyler from the airport, so... literally, I was like halfway through recording a classic video, and then that dropped, so then I had to scrap that idea, come back to my PC, record that. I had to record classic on Kyler's PC, so I haven't hardly gotten to check anything out. What is that? Daddy is faster than lightning? What a name. Thank you for the super chat. Would you ever consider restarting your game? Not permanently. So when I've done the beginner series videos, I've, you know, started a fresh account for that, but I've always backed up my main save to be able to go back to it. More than, what am I at, 5,400 hours in this save? It's too much for me to just, you know, reset. It's been far too much effort and time and stuff that's gotten into it. I'd like to be able to just, you know, drop everything and reset. And I know your trophies technically stay in the lodge, but I just couldn't do it. I hope there are animals just around you that you can see while moving. That would at least help with the immersion factor, right? I would say so. I hate doing airport pickups. I'd rather be the one doing the pickup than the one flying, to be fair, but Pittsburgh's always an interesting drive. It's gonna be... I don't know. I'll be heading into Pittsburgh a little after 5. I don't know if it'll be enough after 5 that I'm gonna miss, like, the worst of the traffic, but fingers crossed for that. Someone just commented that, like, right before the stream bell. I happened to open my phone and look at the comments, and someone said, like, an aquarium or a trophy lodge. I really would like to think they're going to do that. Max weight, huh? Maybe by the time we come back, he'll be coming back on this other side nervous. Lions don't tend to do that. When lions spook and Call the Wild, I'm going to have to get used to calling it the Hunter Call the Wild now. They tend to just walk nervous away forever. I'm not very near Pittsburgh, to be honest. CJ, I got a several-hour drive ahead of me, but 'tis what it is. Henry, thanks for the super chat. How you doing? Where in PA do you hunt? Well, I'm doing good, first of all. It's been quite a busy day, but a productive day, so I guess that's a good thing. And I hunt in West Central PA. Both my dad's property and my property are, they're about 40 minutes apart in West Central PA. I bet you that's our guy. Oh, you know what? He probably never spawned in. It's a mythical, so nothing too crazy, but we spawned so close to where he was that, he wasn't visible. So we had no way to spook. I think we got along there. Considering Ultimate Fishing Sim 2 has fish tanks and mounts with the fish, they have to do that. If they want to, I almost said compete, then yeah. By the way, I'm sure you've noticed this, but anybody that's coming in here and seeing my awful graphic settings, my GPU's dying, so try to make doing at least have a decent frame rate for you guys watching. Your voice is so soothing. Why, thank you. I'm gonna operate a lullaby channel next. Ooh. So I know, I'm a little familiar with the Fishing Planet. They have, like, uniques and stuff, but I don't know how that works. They could have, like, albino catfish and, golden rainbows. Isn't there a blue rainbow as well? I'd like that. Albino fish would be cool. I don't know how many species have, like... What's the way to say that? How many species have albinos or whatever that aren't in captivity? Because I remember we had an albino catfish. Or no, it wasn't. It was an albino frog or something growing up. It might have been a catfish, but I seem to remember it being a frog. Anyway, I know you can get that kind of stuff in captivity a lot easier. I don't know how many of such things are caught in the wild. Like, golden rainbows are pretty common. But again, those are kind of bred and stocked. Anyway. Melanistic fish, is that a thing? I didn't know that. Imagine catching a Wells catfish? Are they the really thick ones? I don't know for sure. What's your most favorite albino? Probably the albino diamond moose. I think it's got to be that. I was thinking back, so I have a plan. Whenever my new PC is supposed to be delivered, I'm hoping that it's going to be Wednesday, but there's a chance that it's going to be like next Monday or something, which I really hope it's not, because I don't know if this one's going to make it that far. Anyway, I'm going to do a medved hunt, and the reason is, one of the last things I killed on my last PC was that albino diamond moose. I got this new PC shortly after that. So I think it would be fitting to go back to medved and do a multiplayer hunt and just see if I can find anything, you know, as a last kill on this one. Are you getting early access for the new map? I don't even know if they're doing early access. I've heard nothing thus far. There are several reports of total albinism in both freshwater and marine fish. However, frequently captured albino fish are only reported in aquarium magazines and local newspapers. If I'm understanding that correctly, that kind of would seem to make sense. Carp have a ton of fancy colorings. I don't know much about carp. I just know they're, like, at least the ones that we have. They're fun to catch, but they're kind of like stinky fish, so once you handle them, it's hard to get that. It's like Subway. You can't get that smell away from you. What kind of PC you get? So, apparently, last time I brought this up, I was told that getting a pre-built's actually okay now. So it's a pre-built, mostly because I needed something fairly quick, knowing that the new map was coming out, and then we hear about a whole new game coming out in theAngler. But anyway, it's a Skytech. It was on Twitch though. We had a command for a link to the PC I got on Twitch. I don't think it's on the YouTube side of things, but it's got a 3060 in it. It's not a crazy amazing PC, but the thing about it is, for one, it was very affordable for the quality that it'll bring. But compared to the current PC I have, it's a Alienware Aurora something. I forget the exact name of it. But for one, it's all proprietary stuff, so it's a pain to upgrade. And it's also, like, they make the cases very small, which is nice for space-saving reasons, but it makes it such a pain to upgrade anything. So I think it's going to be good with the new one, even if it's maybe not like the top-of-the-line stuff right now. It'll be far easier to upgrade than my current one. Pike are fun to catch. My brother caught a pike. We were fishing together just off a dock in Deep Creek, Maryland, and he caught one. It was a pretty cool experience. Hopefully I'll get to get one someday. Can you fish in the Hunter Call of the Wild? You cannot, but if you check out the trailer released on Expansive World's YouTube channel literally like 2 hours ago, they are apparently coming out with a game called Call of the Wild theAngler, which is going to be all about fishing, and I think a lot of people are going to be pretty happy with that. Okay, Mel. Are you going to send it in the group chat, or I don't know where I'm looking. Have you seen or caught a palomino trout? Don't know how to spell it. I think you got it right. Or palette. Something's wrong there. I don't think it the first eye. Anyway, not relevant. Sorry. Palomino maybe. I've seen one, but not caught one. I caught one when I was young. I don't even remember where. Where would that have been? I don't know. Maybe like a pond of some kind that's like stocked for a sportsman's club. I really don't remember. I know that I caught one. I remember my sister catching one. And I'm sure my brother's caught him because he's all about fishing. But I definitely don't have pictures of it. I was way too... This is before cell phone cameras were any kind of decent or anything. Gotcha, Mel. Oh, that would be neat. Can I say what that is? I assume I can, but you didn't say the name of it, so maybe you're... I don't know if you were saving that for something you wanted to talk about, or if you were saying it, or not saying it to surprise me with what it was. Have you gotten a crown blue wildebeest? Yes, they're one of my favorite rares. Now, there's an unfortunate side to them. For whatever reason, they can only be female. You cannot get a male crowned wildebeest, which is really unfortunate. I wonder... Ooh, jeez, that was some lag. I wonder how big the maps are going to be. They looked pretty sizable in the trailer. Because that's the thing that I was thinking of, Scarecrow. Like, for one, you know what else is going to be pretty relevant to this? Ooh, I wish I'd have thought of this in my video. Running water. Classic attempted it on Picabeen Bay, and it caused some pretty major frame issues to the point that I believe they removed it, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe they eventually got it back in the game, but Call of the Wild has no running water. That's something that's going to happen. Even if it's not on the first map or second map they drop, there's got to be running water eventually. River and creek fishing has to be a thing. Have you shot an albino lion? I've shot two, actually. One on the old scoring system. It is in my trophy lodge somewhere, although that may have been one of the things that got deleted. I lost some trophies at one point. And then I shot an albino female lion before trophy lodges were a thing. Is the Angler coming to console? Okay, so this was a relevant point, actually. I'm glad you brought that up. It seemed like at first that it was like a PC only thing, and I was like, oh no, I don't want to have to address all these questions if it's going to be PC only, but the official Facebook post, I believe it, I copied the words so I could say this out loud because I knew I'd get it wrong. Coming later this year to PC via Steam, the Microsoft Store, and Epic's Game Store, with consoles to follow. So I think it's going to be on PC first, unfortunately, a little bit like some of the Hunter Call of the Wild stuff we've seen, but it should be coming to console as well. Can an 8 mythical Cape Buffalo make diamond? As far as I'm aware, that's entirely impossible. Certain things can make diamond at level 8. Water Buffalo can. Apparently mountain lions are supposed to be able to, like pumas and stuff, but that's one of those, like, I'll believe it when I see it things. There's been the occasional one posted, but it's always tough to, you know, vet what's legit and what's not. Cape Buffalo I don't think can, though. What's up, Pizza Kittens? It's been a wild day. It's been a really wild day. The stream obviously was early today. I got ready to record my normal video that's coming out tomorrow. My PC can't run Classic. My GPU is just nearing the end. I don't know why I can run Call of the Wild but not Classic. I really don't. But I got all settled in on Kyla's PC to record Classic, and then this trailer drops. So I gotta go back to my PC because I have the stuff I need to record for that on this PC. Recorded my reaction thing to the trailer. Back to Kyla's PC, recorded the video for tomorrow, and now we're here. Been a busy day. That's how I feel, Drayden. It's just good they're making it for console as well. I imagine it'll be similar to Call of the Wild. First Steam to work out the kinks and bugs, and then release on console after it's had some updates to address the initial issues. Yeah, and I hope it's not nearly as long a wait as console had to wait for Call of the Wild. 6 months? No, it's more than 6 months. 8 months? So hopefully they can kind of have that turnaround a lot better. But it would definitely be good if they can kind of work out some of the bugs. Was not expecting that trailer. Same. And on a Monday? Like, they never drop trailers on Mondays. It was a huge shock to me. TWO, thank you for the super chat. Can we expect a good amount of Angler content? As of now, at least, I certainly expect to work it into the weekly rotation. Maybe even more than once a week. We'll have to see. But as I talked about in my reaction to the trailer, I don't know what to call it, my video on the Angler. One thing that I really want to do is some combination videos. So maybe, you know, fishing in the morning, hunting in the evening, or, you know, for instance, if we're gonna hunt, I don't know, I'm picking Silver Ridge Peaks stuff because I definitely recognize one map as being similar to Silver Ridge Peaks. So we're gonna hunt pronghorn. That would be a morning thing, right? We could hunt pronghorn in the morning and then fish in the evening or something. Assuming that time is relevant in the Angler. We'll see about that. Just saw your video on the trailer. I had no idea that any fishing game would come out. Yeah, especially with, it's weird this happens though. Especially with Reventuli Coast on the horizon. I'm surprised they're doing anything that maybe would take away from that hype a bit. Maybe it adds to it. But they've done that with Classic and Call of the Wild before. I can't even remember. It was a new map or one of the weapon packs or something. And Classic had a big new update too. And I was like, man, like, spread them out or something. Everything coming out on the same day, I couldn't keep up. But I guess at least this is just a trailer and not a full release or anything. Where is this lion? Odd. Oh. There he is. Or she. There was a male, though. All animals that go to level 9 can make diamond at level 8, but it's rare, one of the devs said. Yeah, I've heard that as well. There's certain ones, though, that I'm basically 100% sure never could actually make diamond. Cape Buffalo kind of fall into that list, because you get... Like, there's never been a level 8 with the right horns, and the troll horns for Cape Buffalo never score high enough. So I can't see a world in which one of those makes it, but, you know, maybe there's some unseen scenario still. There's the 12 months for Wolverine. I don't know why I can see it this time. Do you think we'll see those bows and jeeps in Call of the Wild? See, now that's a good point. It's the same... Maybe not the same, like, direct dev team, but it's all in-house stuff, right? Why could that not... Assuming it's on the same engine, which I believe it is, why could that not interchange? That could be huge. You got a really good point there. Snakehead, thank you for the super chat. I think one advantage the Angler would have over the Hunter is that there seems to be more options on where EW can put reserves because they are places in real life where you can't hunt but can still fish. That's an interesting thing that just happened there. Yeah, I'm sure there are maybe some places, but you don't run into a lot of, like, can't fish here situations where places you can't hunt definitely are a thing. I think the other thing it does is it could allow them to, like, with any one reserve, it could allow them to basically put any fish they want. Like, if they just add a pond and say it's a stocked pond, they can put something extra in there that otherwise maybe wouldn't be a native species. How you feeling today? I'm doing good, man. Trying to navigate my way through an absolutely crazy day. What's up, TK? Lions and chill. Dude, I'm trying to get this... I was trying to come up with something that would be kind of slower paced hunting, and I think lions kind of are that. This GPU is just dying. I tried to record Classic on my PC today at 8 FPS. I didn't try to record when I saw it was 8 FPS, but I fired up the game, saw the frame rate, and just was big sad. Do you think the fishing game will be on console? Their official Facebook post says that it will... It looked to say that it's going to come out on PC and then it's going to come out on console. I don't know, like, how long that period of time may be between, but hopefully it's brief. That would be the ideal. Jaxy had said on stream, all animals 1 level below max can make diamond, but for some it's so rare it's never happened. I guess in theory that could be... I don't know. The tough part about it is, you know, I don't know what percentage of Call of the Wild players are on, like, social media and in the Discords and stuff. The rare time that it's happened, it could have happened to somebody that's not on social media, so, you know, nobody ever finds out about it. It's hard to say. Exactly, Atcha. Anything like that, too. Like, they could just be like, no, yeah, it's been introduced to this reserve, so go catch it. Don't question it. Just go catch it. I had a fantastic pun that I came up with right after my trailer was posted. My video on the trailer was posted earlier, by the way. I said something about, like, I forget what particular aspect, but let's say that it was the... Oh, I know what it was. Like, there's a look in the two fish that we got to see. There's a bit of a look in their eye that, like, there's... You see that in some, even fish mouths. They just don't look real, and it's because of the eyes. Something about the eyes of the pike and the sunfish we got to see at least made them look realistic to me, and that was what got me hooked, as my pun was. I can't believe I didn't say that. I'm upset that I didn't think of it. I usually am good with puns, and I'm really sad. Jack, thank you for the super chat. It's crazy that they used to drop hints way in advance for new maps, but they just dropped the Angler trailer out of nowhere. Yeah, and you know, they maybe they were hinting. They've been with their surveys for a long time, been saying stuff like, you know, what would you like to see in a new game? Fishing, survival, camping, all these different things. Bottom Boy's been on that for a while, been saying like they're releasing a new game of some kind. But I was on his side. I thought it was more of like a survival thing, but it turns out they're going with a fishing game. I like the quote, standalone game. Red Dead Wolf, thank you for the super chat. Got to alert this lion wherever he's at. How do you feel about being able to save loadouts and switch between at a locker instead of having to change them all individually? That's something I really hope we see eventually. Classic introduced those. They are like a paid feature, which I don't personally care too much either way if they make it a free update or a DLC, but I know some people obviously would want it to just be a free update, but being able to have a loadout set for every single map, it can make you so much more time efficient. It can make some of those, like, maybe what I'll call lazy mistakes go away for certain maps. Like, very often, maybe I just hunted for hunger as I'm doing now, and then the next video I record is going to be Aurora. I don't need a 300. But I've got all my loadouts set, and, like, I just, either I carry the 300 and I don't use it, or I don't bring collars because the 300 was there, and if I just had map-specific loadouts, you never have that problem where, you know, it's too big of a pain to change things over and you just go without. Will the Angler become the Sunday morning streams game? It could be. It could happen. I'll tell you what, I've been really proud of Shadow the last couple streams. She's been pretty good about not getting all barky and upset that I'm talking but not talking to her. We'll see what happens when Kyla gets back. I'm curious if it's something to do with, like, not being able to get both of our attention, or why she's been really good, for me at least. But if she continues to be good when Kyla's home, yeah, I'd say there's a fair chance that's the way it goes. I'm glad it's smooth, Bottom Boy, because sometimes I feel like with my current terrible frames per second, that it would not look smooth. The map in this trailer is Golden Ridge Peaks. I can't believe I spaced on that to not talk about it. I wonder if it looked like there had to be at least like 2 or 3 maps. There was a deserty looking area that was kind of Rancho-esque. There was that one, the Golden Ridge Peaks. I thought there was one other one that kind of was mountainous looking, but not as green as SRP. Could be good for a chill, relaxing stream. Yeah, I wonder, you know, how intensive some of the gameplay is going to be. Is it just going to be, you know, spend X amount of time finding a good spot and then cast in and you're good for a couple hours? Or is it going to be constantly moving? It'll be interesting. Fishing Fridays? Maybe. Could maybe work. What's up, mistress? Call the fish zones. Yeah, I saw somebody posted when to black bass drink. That'd be pretty hilarious. I hope they don't do zones. Please don't do zones. One map looked like Yukon or Layton. I think that's the one I'm thinking of if we're on the same page there. I really hope they added the console. It looks like it's going to be on console as well. What PCs do y'all use to get a smooth Call of the Wild playing? Well, for one, I should say my graphic settings currently are really low with this PC because it's absolutely dying. Kyla's PC, which is the same one that I'm getting here shortly, is a Skytech. Amazon pre-built. They're really affordable for, you know, everything they deliver in terms of hardware and stuff. I definitely recommend looking into them on Amazon if you're looking for just a pre-built. It's generally considered best to build them yourselves, but if you're like me and you figure you do something wrong, there's a lot of good pre-builts out there. Your hooked pun was amazing. Why, thank you. I think an Alaska map would be cool. Alaska has a lot of good fishing too. I mean, freshwater and saltwater, I believe, could be all in one map, right? Let's hope the fish don't go aggressive. I mean, if we eventually get sharks or something. Did I miss anything? The hunter-wise, no, but maybe a fair bit of chat about the Angler trailer that was dropped earlier. I thought the same, Levi. I thought the fish models were good. The thing that really got me was the little subtle wiggles, for a lack of a better term, that the sunfish was making. Like, it immerses you into that moment. It makes it feel like it's actually alive and not just dead fish model thing. Imagine Bottom Boy, that could be amazing. What's up, Turtle Boy? I hope they add bow fishing in it. Hey, it could happen. It could very much happen. Dang it, who was it? Wolverine, I think? Brought it up earlier, like, maybe the boats and vehicles could make their way into the Hunter Call of the Wild. Along the same vein, potentially the bows that are already in-game can make their way into the Angler, and that might mean, you know, it's easier for them to implement something like bow fishing. Sturgeon are a must, I think, Cashew. That could be one of the coolest things. Can you do a Fishing Planet video to build hype for the Hunter Call of the Wild, the Angler? Or Call of the Wild, the Angler, I guess it would be. Maybe later in the year when we're getting closer to release, I could consider it. You think albino lions are the rarest things? I think they're up there. I don't know what the rarest thing is necessarily. They're high on the list. I withhold judgment until I see actual gameplay. That was the... Ooh, God, frames, please. That was the one thing that I kind of noticed. It didn't feel like a lot of that was so much gameplay as it was staged sequences. Wow, we had 1 frame per second there momentarily. That was cool. Come on, computer, you can do this. You don't have to last that much longer. I only need you to live for like a couple more days. Well, that was a plain miss. Albino quail has to be the rarest? Yeah, that's probably above that. There's still only been 1 posted that I'm aware of. Maybe they add where you can keep your fish and put it in aquariums? Yeah, aquariums or just a lodge of some kind to keep them in would be neat. That was the only major thing that I thought of, like when it came to adding fishing to Call of the Wild rather than doing a standalone game. It would be neat to have like some fish and hunting trophies in the same lodge, but I'm still of the opinion that it's best they separate the games, which clearly they're doing. Got my first diamond today? Nice, man. Have you ever gone fly fishing? So I've had a fly rod for like, oh boy, 10 years nearly? But this year was the first time I really did any significant fly fishing, and I was fortunate that Psycho Beagle, one of the Discord and YouTube moderators, for one, I was fortunate that he lives like 20 minutes from me. He actually came here and helped to teach me to fly fish, and it's gotten to the point now that I just prefer fly fishing. It's more fun, it's more rewarding, and it can also kind of be more, what's the word? It allows you to be so much more varied than using spinning tackle. Sounds good, Acid. Every 10 minutes I'm playing the T-Rex sound, though, to wake you back up, like you do to me on Twitch. A diamond red deer, there you go. What's your PB bass? Nothing crazy, like 3 pounds or something. I've told this story on stream before, but I think it's kind of funny, so I'll tell it again. There was one that was just above 10 pounds, and I know it was above 10 pounds because it was caught by other members of the Sportsman's Club in this pond they had there. So, we were fishing this one morning, and it happened to be nesting pretty close to the bank. So I was like, well, I'm just gonna put a night crawler on, throw it out, and see what happens. And it was so close that I could watch it physically take the night crawler and start to move back. And as soon as I tried to set the hook, my 15-pound braid snapped. So perhaps I had like maybe it was an old line, maybe there was a knot in the line, I don't know. But then my brother and my dad had the exact same experience. I think with, I want to say it was with different line, but it could have been the same. But both of them as well managed to have it bite and then lose the hook. Goodness gracious, these poor frames. It was a little unfortunate, Turtle Boy, but I don't know. I was a small lad, I was pretty young. I don't even know that I could have landed the thing. A new game to play. I'm not good at these kind of things. I play very few games. I assume you're looking for like a PC game, because Jurassic World Alive is a pretty fun mobile game. Eats your battery like nothing else, but it is what it is. Red-tailed deer? Red-tailed hawk. I don't know what we're talking about. Some knots won't hold with braided line. It did snap though, because like if it was a knot, you would have seen that, or if it was a knot untying, you would have seen that like twistiness in the line still. I think. I don't know. I don't use braid anymore, so it's been a long time since I've messed with any of that. The worst part, I'm sure it was fine because they were smaller hooks, but I hate to imagine that poor bass with 3 hooks in its mouth. Although, like I said, someone caught it not long later. I'm sure they solved that. Dream Super Rare? A Leucistic Bighorns Cape Buffalo would be my my Dream Super Rare. Brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends. They've reached out to me to do an ad and I refuse. I don't tend to use anything smaller than 30-pound braid on my open water rods, 30 on my 6'6" medium, 50 pounds on my medium heavy, and 80 pounds on my 8-foot extra heavy. I don't have such rods. I definitely didn't back then, but I've got like 1 bass rod and 2 trout rods, and that is it. One day I'll be that level of cool. Fishing is fun, you got it right. Would you want fly fishing in the Angler? I mean, I guess. The tough, like, this is the same thing when someone asks about, like, spear hunting in Call of the Wild, or slingshot, or atlatl, or any of those types of things. Like, the point of it is different. Do you know what I mean? Like, okay, even archery hunting in real life, the point of it is a little bit different. Like, the point is not necessarily the challenge, but that's partially it. It's all the practice and the technique and the getting everything just right, I guess. Fly fishing has an aspect of that, and I just don't think you can properly replicate it in a game no matter what you do. So I don't know that even the best fly fishing implementation in a game, I don't know that it could really feel like fly fishing very much. Like, I don't know that it would be worth the time. It would be a different form of fishing though. If they could make it a little bit challenging, maybe it'd be worth it. Snakehead, thank you for the super chat. I'd asked this earlier, but what maps would you like to see in the Angler? Sorry I missed that if you asked earlier. I may have been distracted by 12 other things. What maps would you like to see? Let's think. This is a tough one because you don't have to. I was saying earlier as well. You don't have to be as like stick to the region. You can just be like, yeah, there's a pond over there with 12 exotic fish species. Go fish there. Like, it's not quite like hunting where it has to make sense, but I don't know, like a Rocky Mountains, maybe like ponds, creeks, rivers. I don't know how many rivers are in the Rocky Mountains, but I know they have like some trout fishing and stuff, like wild trout in those kind of areas. Stuff like that could be neat. I'm pretty simplistic in this. Like, cool views for trout fishing, thick bass and like some farm ponds could be pretty neat. And again, like, you'd be wanting to work a bunch of stuff together. I think you'd want maybe some ponds, creeks, big lakes and stuff all on the same map. And I don't know like what would be the best area for that necessarily. Some Great Lakes could be cool though. Fishing with a frog lure, that'd be pretty neat. Any kind of I almost said top water thing. Oh, nice, David. I've never fired a double barrel both barrels at once. Is that twice the recoil? In theory, it should be, right? But would it be? I feel like there's some science that says it's probably like 1.5 times or something. What kind of fish do you want in the angler? That's probably a better question for me. So definitely, I mean, there's a bunch. I'm just going to say trout as a overarching term because everything from cutthroats to rainbows to brook trout to brown trout, lake trout. I mean, and you know, the variations, you got like goldens and stuff like that. All those kind of things I think could be neat. I think running water fishing would be a lot of fun, so rivers and creeks and stuff. If they don't have bass, I'd be really upset. Cats. I mean, we have pike clearly from the thing that we saw. Muskie could be pretty neat if they added something big like that. Maybe, David? Like I said, there's some scientist out there that's tested this stuff and knows the answer, but I'm too stupid to know. Science says it should be 4 times. Does it actually say that? It could be the sense make. I don't know. What do you think the hardest thing will be in the angler? The rocks, I'd say. I don't know, if they do something like fly fishing, maybe getting the casting just right, or it just depends on how they choose to do it. Like, it could be choosing the correct lure for the correct conditions. It could be difficult casting mechanics. There's a lot of different directions something like that could go in. What's up, Connor? Bass are confirmed there was a letter on the Steam page. Okay, well, good. It's not PC only, Pac-Man. I think it's going to be PC first, which I genuinely am a little upset about that. I wish they could have done like a sim launch, but somebody pointed out earlier, maybe they want to kind of, you know, work out the bugs and stuff first. But on their official Facebook posting about it, they said like Steam, Epic Games, and Microsoft Store, and then with consoles to follow. So assuming that means sometime later. It was enough for me to believe it, Bottom Boy, just because you said science says it's 4 times. What's up, Colonel Mustard? What is this fishing thing everyone's talking about? Expansive Worlds on their YouTube channel today dropped a trailer for a new fishing game that apparently is coming out later this year called Call the Wild, theAngler, which to me looks pretty good. I'm pretty excited to see what they do with that. Imagine running 5 kilometers to a spot and forgetting your rod. I almost did that yesterday. Not quite to that degree, but so my brother had to travel for work, and usually he's the one that deals with the trail cameras at my dad's property. I'm like 40 minutes away, so it can be a bit much for me to you know, make sure I get all that done in my, like, what, every 2 week or 3 weeks that I'm there. So anyway, since he was traveling and hasn't had the trail cameras out, I went to go and do that. And I walked, like, 400 yards from the house. And then it occurred to me that I didn't bring the trail cameras with me that I had to go set up, so walked my way back. Poor Shadow didn't know what the heck we were doing. I went kayaking once and forgot my rods on the bank. At least it's a kayak. Like, they're not too terribly bad to, like, maneuver around. I'm sure there's some boats that could have been worse with. Eventually we'll actually find some lions. Do you play Rocket League? I used to. It's been 2+ years since I've played it. From what I've seen, like, some friends that send me, say, like, RLCS highlights or stuff like that, the game was probably going to pass me by pretty soon after I stopped. I was a grand champion, which was the highest rank at the time when I stopped, and I'm pretty glad, because I don't think I could have maintained the highest rank. I was never a very mechanical player. Ranked wasn't very hard to figure out. Everybody just kind of ball chased, so if you just kind of sat back and were smart about it, you could make things work. An Alabama map for largemouth bass would be nice through the Alabama River. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know there was an Alabama River. Oh, well, that's unfortunate, Joe. What's your biggest catfish ever? Like 4 pounds, 5 pounds. I don't know. I never weighed them. They were, you know, 30-inch farm pond catfish. In the Angler, do you think they should add a couple of the Call of the Wild maps to fish on? While some people would find that pretty cool, you know, going fishing on one of the Call of the Wild maps, like Layton Lakes has so much water, in theory, that could be an easy one to transfer over. They would get more complaints and negative attention than positive if they did that, and the reason is you would get a lot of people saying, like, look, all they're doing is copy and pasting a map from Call of the Wild, and now they expect us to pay for it or whatever. Like, they're just best off probably not doing that. My god, the frames. This poor PC. Should I turn down graphics even further? I don't even know what else I can cut. Look at these terrible settings. 2. Is that gonna save us? Probably not. Could you hunt and fish in the Angler? I think it's gonna be fishing only, but hard to say. Maybe they'll have some kind of plan for that. That's what I was saying, CJ. Stream fishing or rivers or creeks, just running water, that could, just the aspect of having running water and, like, proper mechanics with your lure or bait floating downstream could put them in a category of their own in the fishing game realm already. Do you monitor PC temps? Yeah, my GPU is probably running at about max temperature, which it has been for a while. Let's see. Actually, weirdly enough, I think my GPU sensor has stopped working, which is probably not a good sign, but like I said, it's at the end of its life. It's hardly hanging on anymore. Got a new PC coming, I just need to get through however long until then. I think I'll be able to record potentially on Kyla's PC. I was trying to figure out, like, the logistics of getting logged in on my account and then making sure her save files in the right place and all that. We'll have to see how that goes. Did you get another computer or something? There's one on the way. This one's just on its way out. It's absolutely dying. And I guess it was maybe not the smartest move on my part when I got this PC. It's an Alienware, like Aurora or something, I forget the exact name of it, but the case is very small and compact, which when I got this for, you know, my bedroom with my parents, that's kind of crazy to say that in that amount of time I've gone from there to an apartment now into a house, but anyway, like, it was kind of good for it to be rather compact, but it's such a pain to upgrade or anything. I was just better off getting a whole new PC. Kyla's back. Holy, holy, holy. D-Fish, fitting name for today's stream. Thank you for the super chat. Looks like the angler's going to have trophy shots before the hunter. Kind of curious as to how they're going to do respawns as well. Are we basing off like the way the guy was holding the pike in the sunfish? Because maybe, I mean, in theory, you just screenshot that and that's effectively a trophy shot. But I'm thinking of some of the other fishing games that are out there. That's kind of just the pull the fish out of the water animation. Hard to say. Hey, good work, bottom boy. Maybe you could hook up bear or something with your fishing pole. That's a good idea. Another hours, DK. I would love to see a very similar map, but not identical. Not because the copy and paste thing, but just because it would be a new area to explore, like same region, just different aspects to it. Yeah, like, I think I see what you're saying. Maybe Rahunga's not the... Well, yeah. What if it's just for Hunga, but it's like this part up here and there's more water that you can't see in the darkness, because obviously you want the water. But same basic area, but a fully new map. Am I understanding what you're saying, right? Will there be an early access? That's a good question. I don't know. Maybe. I could see them... So what they did with the Hunter Call of the Wild was... It was an odd early access. My shooting is so bad right now. There we go. So... The way that they did it, I want to say that, like, certain content creators, I'm gonna say maybe Who Cares, Ron McTube, I don't remember, I was under the impression they got early access, and then also they did like a lottery, so you put in your email, and there was like random drawings. I didn't get drawn for that, but, because I only had like 2K subs or something, one of my viewers got drawn twice and gave me an opportunity to test an early access. What's up, Tyrone? Day's going alright. We're trying to get by with my PC absolutely dying, struggling to run Call of the Wild anymore. And talking about the Angler, the new trailer. How dare you start early, Danny? I posted this in Discord and on YouTube. It is a travel day. Gotta go and pick up Kyla from the airport in just over an hour. Well, I don't gotta be there in an hour. I gotta leave in an hour. Shadow's gonna be coming along. It's gonna be a grand old time, I hope. I saw there was... I am, like, obsessed with this Mitch Rumpola buck. This is 30 years ago, nearly. It's this guy that apparently has all these, I think, like, Missouri and Michigan records. I'm pretty sure it's Missouri and Michigan. Michigan for sure. And, like, he claimed to have what should have been the New World Record typical whitetail. I think a 216. This is the Rumpola buck that I'm referencing. There's so much controversy around it, and apparently some taxidermists have said, like, the way the antlers attach to the head and stuff, it actually appears to be a doe that has antlers sewn onto it. And I saw, like, a hour-long podcast talking about it, and I can't wait to listen to it on my 2-hour drive. I know, Kyla. I hope she doesn't pee everywhere. What's up, Joe? Braden's in here as well. What's going on, man? How's the doggo doing? She's doing good. We had her at Mom and Dad's yesterday, or I did, I guess, for Father's Day. How long was I there? Like 8 hours or so? She was pretty well behaved. She still, like, gets super excited and jumps at people, but working on trying to train that out of her. And right now she's just sleeping on her bed. Ooh, ice fishing would be good. That's a good point. That could be a lot of fun. What if, so is there a, would it not be feasible, and I don't know if fishing in like a frozen river is a thing, but could they have lakes that are frozen over but rivers that are still moving, so you could have a little bit of both, like spinning and ice fishing on the same map? I have no idea, bottom boy. She's like that too. Oh goodness, I didn't know she was awake. I looked down at her. I hope that doesn't make her go crazy. It's that, like, if she sees someone new or gets, even sometimes, like, I'll get home from the grocery store, I've been gone for 2 hours, God forbid, she'll jump up and start peeing everywhere, but she also will, like, the one thing that we've struggled with is getting her to always go outside. She's gotten way better at it, but she'll just, like, squat on the carpet, and it's not nearly enough to be like, oh, you actually had to go. She's just like, yeah, I'll just pee here, it's fine. Just a weirdo. It was good, Carlo. Got to spend the day with my parents and stuff. Actually, I got a fair bit of stuff done as far as hunting goes. I put some trail cameras up at Mom and Dad's. I'm also super excited tonight to check the cameras that I had on my property. I've been waiting for Kylie to get home because we always watch the cards together. Last week, because I usually check them weekly, we screen shared in Discord for her to be able to see, but I figured this week, since it was only one day different, usually it's Sundays, I'd just wait for her to get back. Yeah, that's what we do, Bottom Boy. We either, like, when I get to Mom and Dad's, the first thing I do is walk her around outside, and then I'll usually have someone come out to meet her, and then here, like, as well, let her outside, or it's gonna be a mess. We fish for steelhead trout in the rivers while Erie is frozen, trying to freeze. Alright, that's all I need to know. They should do that. I'd like it. There's one turtle boy that I think is going to be a legit, like, maybe 140, 150 inch deer, which is huge for PA still, even though it's not as big as the one that I shot last year, but it's just, you know, it's going to depend on how many tines he ends up growing and stuff, and if he ends up with more stickers, because it appears he's already growing one. Other than that, there's not a whole lot to go on, but, you know, it's early. There's plenty of bucks I'm sure I haven't seen. What time of year do the real-life hunting vids release? Glad you asked. In a week, I believe. June 27th on Wild TV, episode 1 of our 2021 season, which is TK's Fallow Deer Hunt, is going to come out. Oh, God. Hi. Thanks for not killing me. I'll spare you too. I didn't know he was right there. Anyway, glad we didn't just die. So yeah, the way that that's going to work is they're going to release on Wild TV, and then I think a couple days later on our channel, and then, like, obviously I'm not posting TK's content on my channel, but then episode 2, which is opening day of archery stuff here, that will air on Wild TV, I think July 4th. Should come out on Meat Hunters maybe July 7th, 8th, and then on my channel July 11th, 12th, something like that. Much scared, very well. Actually, I think what it's going to be, it should air on Wild TV on Mondays, Meat Hunters on Fridays, and then anything that's my content will release on this channel on Tuesdays. That's a better schedule for you guys. A little more consistent. Which does mean my buck's going to be basically last, which I know some people have been waiting to see that for forever, but I think it's going to, for me at least, I think it's going to speed up when, you know, hunting content's coming out week after week. What rifle do you hunt with in real life, and what's your favorite in the Hunter? So I hunt with a 7mm Mod 8 in real life. I hunted with my dad's old 30-30 for a lot of years. I love that gun. It did such a good job for so many years. Just always super accurate, super consistent, really great brush gun, and a lot of PA hunting is like brush stuff. And then I had two years in a row. I shot a doe in the heart at about 100 yards, and it just didn't react how you expect a deer that was shot to react. It just kind of stood there, so I ended up taking a kind of bad angle shot. Not like a bad angle like I hit it poorly, it was just quartering really hard towards me. So the shot double lunged it, but it also got it into the guts a bit, which obviously that's a mess. So, you know, weird scenario, but who knows. Then my 2019 buck, I shot him through both lungs. Oh God, frames come back. And he just kind of stood there. And you guys saw in the video I ended up shooting again. I did a terrible job of explaining that. I regret that about that video. I hit him both times in the lungs. And even after the second shot, it just stood there for a while. So it's really odd. I ended up getting a new gun, and that 7mm Mod 8 is so good. I'll probably never change calibers again. Have you ever been interested in a real-life... I'm sure by CO you mean Colorado, right? And not like co-op hunt or something. My brother's actually going out there for elk this year. Probably in the next couple years we're going to do that. Trophy shots and lodges on the Angler? I hope both. Lodges would be pretty cool. And then trophy shots should be a lot more doable. It's, in theory, a lot easier to take a trophy shot of a fish than an animal, right? What lake? I can show you on the map. It's this little small guy right here. Isn't the 7mm a little overpowered for whitetail, or do you have big whitetail? I would, well, I wouldn't say it's overpowered. Although, if you hit like a significant chunk of bone, you'll end up with pretty massive damage. But if you shoot through the rib cage, or, you know, just maybe the shoulder blade and not the actual leg bone, it doesn't tend to do that like massive damage that ruins a bunch of meat. To me, it's just about right. My brother and my dad both use variations of the 7mm, and mine's the odd 8. It just tends to drop deer in their tracks, which is really what you want, right? As little suffering as possible. What's the biggest whitetail you've killed in real life? My buck last year was 180 and 6/8, I should say. Gross score. The net score was 171 and 3/8, net non-typical. Makes him the second biggest non-typical shot in this county ever. And the biggest since like 1942, which I thought was pretty neat. Frames come back. Can I buy frames at like Walmart or something? They sell frames per second. Can you please do a respawn video? The tough thing about making a respawn video is that not only do a lot of people have like conflicting opinions about how they work, it's also the case that, well, I guess maybe it's obvious that this is the case. Because no one knows how they work, any information I'm putting out there is strictly opinion, and while that's not necessarily a bad thing, it can be a little bit problematic when, you know, I might say this is how it works and it's not how it works, or it's not how someone else perceives it, it's how it works. It can be a little bit weird. My 25-06 is like that. I hit the front leg on the doe that I shot last year, went clear through the bone, both lungs, but that front left shoulder was pretty much destroyed. Yeah, you know what was weird? It's not always like bigger caliber, more damage. The 243 that we had, my dad got us a Rossi, I forget the name of it, Hunterman knew, I think. It was there were like 3 different barrels for it. I can't think of the name of it right now, but anyway, there was a 243, a 410, and a 22 barrel. That 243, I shot my first deer at 100 yards. It did ridiculous damage for a small caliber. High or low fence? What, my buck? No fence. I wonder why the description says you're playing Rust, does it? I have the Hunter Call of the Wild entered as the game I'm playing. That's really odd. Maybe it's because my computer's so rusty. 180, that's the biggest I've heard of in PA. It's, I was surprised to find out there were as many non-typicals bigger than that as there are, but I don't think I personally know anybody that's had one bigger, but it was really, I've tried to make sure that I make this very clear, like, A, it was unbelievably lucky that it worked out as it did. Eventually I'm gonna make a video talking about all the stuff that, like, doesn't make it into the episode for it, because you can only fit so much detail in a 22.5 minute video. As simple as Kyla not feeling well the day before when I went hunting by myself, and then her not checking the trail camera that day. If she checked it, like, I wouldn't have checked it the following day and found out that that buck had been there that morning. And even down to Kyla finding this property, and I was kind of being talked out of it by my parents a little bit. Like, they kind of weren't a fan of it. I liked it, but Kyla was like, no, this is the one. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna listen to you over my parents, I guess, and see how that goes. Rossi Youth model. I have that for my little cousin. That might be what it is. I'm trying to usually hunt private or public. Is there much public in PA? There's a fair bit of public. Again, I don't pretend that I'm hunting public or anything like that. I know that I'm very fortunate that I get to hunt private, and you know, I was fortunate enough to grow up hunting private. My dad always had, I think he bought most of, if not all, the land that he currently owns the year that I was born. So like, I've never, not that I've never hunted public land, but I've never had that as my only option, maybe I should say. And as I was just saying about this plot of land, I was fortunate enough to Kyla found this one, and it's got 14 acres. It's apparently enough room to house a 180, so it works out. Are red spotted sika deer rare? They are. What rifle are you using right now? For the lions, the 300. What is all the big game animals you've hunted in real life? I think whitetail begins and ends the list. Turkey aren't big game. I've never really hunted black bear. Coyotes aren't big game. Now, I was supposed to hunt pronghorn this year, or we thought we were going to, but unfortunately we did not get drawn for that, so that's not happening. It looks like we're going to have a couple of potential whitetail opportunities this year, but that doesn't add to the list, I guess. Honestly, Turtle Boy, that's a legitimate fear in PA. PA hunters are, and I know I'm one, but PA hunters are ridiculous. There's a lot of, they don't call it the Orange Army for nothing. D-Fairs, thank you for the super chat. Haven't heard you say much about the Way of the Hunter game. What you got on that, or are you not stoked on it? No, actually, I'm pretty hyped about that. Mel on one of the streams, was it Twitch or YouTube? Do I still have it? I don't. One of the streams that we did, Mel pointed out during the stream that they revealed a picture of like a whitetail model, and I thought it looked pretty good. I actually think Way the Hunter has legitimate potential. I'm just kind of waiting to see more. If you ever had the chance to come up to Ontario to hunt, what would be something you'd want to hunt the most? When I think of anything in Canada, I just think moose. So probably that. I don't know. Moose or mule deer. That would probably be the two. PA hunters are one of a kind. I'd like to think I don't fall into that category. You guys have watched me hunt, so maybe I'm not the best judge of my own skills and whatever, ethics, I guess. Ethics are maybe a big thing for PA hunters. Like, I just know too many people that... I have at least 2 acquaintances. One is a relative, one is not, who brag about more, well, okay, 17 or more shots at a singular deer. And I'm just like, what? Why is this something you brag about? I don't understand. I was talking about the Way the Hunter game, Mel, and I was trying to remember if it was a YouTube stream or a Twitch stream, but you had just told me about the whitetail model that they revealed an image of and how good I thought that looked. Getting a tag, that definitely I'm sure is a pain. So this is a genuine, like, I don't know what the heck to do thing about moose. Like, how many people do you need for a moose hunt? If you kill a moose, I don't know, half a mile from camp or whatever, that's one thing. But if you're like a mile or 2 miles in, I don't, how many people do you need to pack a moose out? Because I feel like that's a pretty big deal. It was on Twitch, that explains why I don't have the source anymore. Because I was gonna say I didn't remember deleting that. Maybe that would, maybe that wouldn't be good, Kyla. Did they say what the new great one is yet? They did not. This is why semi-autos will never make an appearance in PA Hunter's hands, right? It's not necessary for deer hunting. Everybody hunts deer differently. Like, I understand if you're doing a drive, you might need more than one shot. I personally am not shooting at a running deer. I may never shoot at a running deer. I've shot at deer that were walking. That's a very different situation. I'm not even sure I'd take a shot at a trotting deer, but I guess it depends how fast they're trotting, potentially. I just remember growing up, like, my pap used to always say, like, you only carry one bullet, you only need one. He didn't actually only carry one, but, like, that's what you tell your kids so they're not shooting at them 12 times. What's up, Jake? I'm doing good, man. Hope you are, too. Do you ever watch the show Meat Eater? That is the only hunting show outside of my own that I watch any kind of consistently. I used to watch a bunch of Drury Outdoor stuff, but and, you know, props to them for managing to, but they've reached a point that a lot of the stuff they do just can't be replicated. Like, they're hunting these deer that are on huge swaths of land. Like, when you see them go out to a cornfield and see like 100 deer, at least here where I hunt in PA, it's just, that's never gonna happen. So, you know, it's not the same to me anymore. Not to say they're doing anything wrong, by the way. I'm just, it doesn't quite apply. Midwest Whitetail or the hunting public, there's something I'm more likely to watch because I can see what they do and actually translate that into what I'm doing. I don't know that Whitetail Habitat Solutions, Jeff Sturgis, I don't know if he does a lot of, I know he films his hunts, but I don't know where they end up. But I watch his like tips and stuff. I don't know if I've ever seen him actually hunt. Snakehead, thank you again, by the way. Personally, there are certain maps I'd like to see in the Angler, like an Amazon map. Ooh, that could be neat. I like that idea. Have you taxed any animals in real life? I haven't, like, if you're asking if I've physically done the taxidermy, no. But I've had, we always had a deal growing up, that my brother and I, and my sister too, if she ever ends up getting a buck, would get our first buck mounted. And by that I mean, like, mom and dad paid for it. Because I was 10 and my brother was 11 when we had our first bucks. So I have this tiny, pathetic 5-point mounted that I kind of regret, but I guess it's nice to have it there. And I'm sure, you know, as I've moved into my own place, and my brother's probably not too far from that, that's something that Dad can look at those on the wall and remember that. And then my buck I got last year is currently the taxidermist. I'm hoping in like the next 3 months to get that back, maybe 4 months. I have no idea, Chope. No clue. I've heard the bear hunting in PA is pretty good. Have you ever wanted to or thought about hunting bear? I'm going to get a bear tag this year only because I had a trail camera video of a bear passing through this property, and the neighbors have said that's a fairly consistent thing that the bears are around here. I don't really intend to actively hunt them, but, you know, if one walks past my stand in season, I'll maybe sling an arrow at it. As for otherwise, like, I've never hunted them. I don't like the way that they're hunted here, really. The primary way that people bear hunt in PA is these huge drives, like maybe, I forget if the hunting party limit is 25 or 20, but let's just say 17 to 20 drivers and 3 to 5 sitters or posters, whatever you want to call them. That's just too many. It doesn't even feel like fair chase to me anymore. If it, like, to those that do it, more power to you. Like, this is a me thing. I'm not questioning the ethicality of it or anything like that, but it's just not something that, you know, I'm into. Yeah, Wyoming as well, Bella. How do you feel about the fishing game? I think, well, for one, I'm far more hyped than I thought I was going to be. I think they have a lot of stuff right just from the kind of quick glimpse we got at all the different things. You know, there's so much that we don't know yet, it's hard to make a judgment, but I think they have the resources, just based on what we've seen them do with Call of the Wild, to potentially make it the best fishing game on the market. And what I was saying in the video that I did on it that I think could be cool is some streams or videos that actually are playing both games. Do like an hour of fishing and an hour of hunting, or whatever combination of the two that I think could be pretty neat. What's up, tacos? I was so confused because I thought you were talking to tacos, but then you actually are tacos. Weirdly enough, David, I would be more interested in baiting bears than driving bears. I don't know how that makes sense in my mind, but it does. And I could never hunt a baited deer, I don't think, but for some reason I could hunt a baited bear with no problem. Explain, I don't know. I can't even make sense of that. Just got here, what I miss? Nothing crazy. Lots of lions, but nothing big. And we've been, of course, talking about the Angler trailer that released today. Do fishing in Red Dead 2? I actually do enjoy it. If they can maybe take that and improve, they'd already have something pretty good. Hello. What's up, Trash Panda? Oof. Might have no frames, but I can still shoot. Do you think Call of the Wild is realistic? I think Call of the Wild does a fair job of walking the line between realism and fun. I think it's more on the fun side. I think the Hunter Classic is more on the realism side. But, you know, generally speaking, for what the vast majority of the player base is, I think they've got it about right. Looks real heckin' good. I'm pretty excited. I think, you know, as with any trailer, you always want to see more and see, you know, maybe some of the stuff that doesn't get shown, because obviously they put their best foot forward and something like that. But I'm excited. I think they have a legitimate chance to be good. What's up, Rebel? Super stoked to see you live finally. I've been following you since I got back into playing Call of the Wild. Also, because to buy all the DLCs. Also, wait. I'm missing something. I assume you're saying you're buying all the DLC maps and weapon packs? Is that stuff still on sale? It might be. There was a sale going on very recently. Did that miss? Might have missed. Pick a direction and stick with it. I don't know if that hit the brush right in front of us, because it may have. I feel like that shot was on otherwise. Well, at least the brush is full of bullets. Anyway, we gotta swap the time here and swap maps real quick. I don't think Kyla's driving. I think she's in the passenger seat. Finally done with exams. Nice. It's a good feeling. Switch maps. One day I'll learn how to play this game. How big was your first diamond whitetail? I don't know. It was like a 197 trophy rating, whatever that translated to. You're talking about... Oh yeah, you are. Hope nothing changes. I hope outposts will be there. Lock your cabinets to buy gear and equipment. It probably would be pretty intelligent on their part to basically stick with a lot of the same, you know, core mechanics and stuff, or core, mechanics probably not the right word, but I guess you probably get my point. Oh god, frames. If those that are coming from Call of the Wild can pretty easily get the hang of it, I think that's going to be for the best. Wyatt, thank you for the super chat, by the way. What is the best way to hunt Eurasian lynx? So this is a tough one because of the time you're asking. I would recommend getting on this sooner rather than later. So Eurasian lynx on Medved Taiga drink from 19 to 2300. That's only going to last for 8 more days. In 8 days, when Reventuli Coast releases, lynx drink time is going to disappear. So they might get a lot tougher to hunt. I would recommend hitting that drink time now before it goes away forever and check it out. Stuck in the Rut? I recognize that. Recognize the name. What do you think about boats in the game? So Wolverine brought this up, and I thought it was a really good point. There were bass boats, for lack of a better term, in the Angler trailer, and because it seems to be on the same engine, and you know it's obviously an Expansive Worlds game, the potential for crossover with some of that equipment I think is quite high. maybe we'll see boats come from the Angler into Call of the Wild. Or into the Hunter Call of the Wild. 197 was a mid to high 160. I don't know what you mean by 160. Or unless you mean 260. Have you ever watched cowboy action shooting? I don't think. Unless I'm misunderstanding. Zaggy, thanks for the 43 months, by the way. 25 feet is like double 12? 25 feet? How many toes are on 25 feet? 125, in fact. Anyway, thanks for the 43 months. That might be all the months. I don't know how many months. I guess it wouldn't be literally all the months, but I don't know when they implemented memberships. It's weird that they switch around the name convention for Hunter Call of the Wild to now Call of the Wild the Angler. Yeah, I was thinking that. Like, could they have not done the Angler Call of the Wild? I don't know. Their game. Why would there be boats in Call of the Wild? Verhunga's a bad example, actually. If I could pick a different map. Maybe on Yukon Valley to cross some of those, you know, 400 or 500 meter lakes. Or even to travel along them. You know, there's areas that are kilometers long of just water on Yukon that you could potentially zoom along. No worries, dear Slayer. All the fishing games currently... come back, chat. I need to read you. Currently, you select a spot and have limited movement. This is a huge map where you can walk all over, and I like that a lot. That was one of the big things, I think, making it open world. The immersion and like the really feeling like you're... Not only the really feeling like you're there, but feeling like you're choosing the spot and like you're finding the good spot. I think that's important in a fishing game. I saw somewhere someone brought up that Fishing Planet was called the Angler way back in the days. So maybe some copyright things, so it had to be called out first. Oh, maybe. I kind of remember it being called the Angler at first, and I think there was some confusion that it was made by EW. I seem to recall that being a thing. Yeah, that could be neat, David. That could work. Do you think that the Angler will be actually viable as a single game? Shouldn't this have just been an addition to the Hunter like we've been asking for years? Here's my thinking on making it a standalone game versus adding it to Call of the Wild. If you think of all the new models, all the different fish, all the different models for the fishing rods and boats, the Jeep even. So there's all these new models. All the new animations, like everything from working the reel to setting the hook to potentially lifting the fish out of the water if that's an animation we get to see. And then all the different mechanics. I assume there's going to be fish interaction with bait, and you're going to have to work the bait correctly, and all these different things that are a little nuanced that obviously don't have any place in Call of the Wild currently because there's no fishing. All that stuff's going to be new, right? The last time there was a major mechanic shift in Call of the Wild, or major new addition to mechanics, was Bloodhounds in March of 2021, and that broke a lot of things. That wasn't a huge new thing. This will be huge. The amount of things that could potentially break. I'm not saying they would break it. I'm just saying new things have broken the game in the past. There's so much potential for that to go badly that I think they're better off starting from the ground up. Another thing I was talking about, like we might have lakes in Call of the Wild, but we don't have water in Call of the Wild. You might hear that and think I'm dumb, which I am, but maybe not for that reason. I don't know if I can show you here either. There's places that are better examples of this. This might work. What I need is a spot where I can crawl right up to the edge but not be forced to stand. Yeah, see? There's no water here, right? There's just a surface. If you go to one of these areas like Parque Fernando has or Yukon Valley has, you can run along the bottom of the big crater that's there that's got a surface of water on top. Like, there's no... You can have animals float across the top, that's no big deal, but there's no substance to the water. So even something as simple as that, like, they'd have to completely redo the lakes, because how do you have fish that swim in something that's technically not even there? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of stuff. Oh no, Kyla. Flying fish? Yes. That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, because there's no already set mechanic for depth in the water, you'd probably have fish out of the water. You'd probably have fish, you know, swimming through the ground. Is the game coming to console? It looks like it's probably going to be on PC first, which I know is frustrating. But then it should be coming to console as well. Their Facebook post said coming to like Steam, Microsoft Store, and Epic Games Store later this year, and with consoles to follow. So hopefully it's not long, the consoles to follow part, but we'll see. What's up, Lord? Are Asian carp flying fish? I know nothing about though. Yeah, Yukon has one as well, Zaggy. You can just... And that's what I'm saying, like, you end up running along the bottom. So there's no real water there. And I know, like, obviously there's not water, it's a game, but there's no mechanic that would deal with depth or flotation or any of that stuff. It's just not there. What it ultimately is a big crater that happens to have a water surface shown to us. And it works, it looks good, but for the practical matter of having fish in it, I think there's a whole lot missing that I just think, like, the game wasn't designed with fishing in mind. The Angler will be, and that's going to be better off for both games. You're not going to have broken Call of the Wild stuff due to the Angler, and you're not going to have limitations on the Angler because of the way that Call of the Wild was made. I know PC is king, but I'm debating getting a PS4 and getting Red Dead 2 and Call of the Wild just because I can get a used PS4 for $200. I mean, I don't know what your current playing situation is, but I don't see anything wrong with that. How big was the record county buck that was bigger than yours? So in 1942, there was a... Oh my lord, hello. Don't do it. Oh god, lag. What timing? Get out of here. Did I really have to lag then? I say you caused the lag. There's another something happening. Somebody help. I'm scared. Can't even hit. Anyway, in 1942 there was a 189 net non-typical, so that ends up being like 18 inches higher scoring than mine. So mine's not a close second place, but it is the second place net non-typical. Funny enough, that one was even closer to where I grew up. Is your GPU still dying? Oh yeah, it's bad. I tried to record Classic earlier, and genuinely I was getting 8 FPS. So what I did was, well, first I was trying to record Classic, and then the Angler trailer came out. So I had to come back to my PC and record that. I ended up recording Classic on Kyla's PC today because my poor PC is absolutely dying. And there's a fair chance the videos, at least this week, are all going to be recorded on Kyla's PC. I need to see if it's a problem, like, if I sign in with my Steam and then have my save file on Kyla's PC, it shouldn't be an issue. I'll make sure to, like, back her save file up. But the only thing is the streams. Wednesday, I don't know if I can do a Classic stream. And then Friday, we'll see. Hopefully I have my PC by then. That's true. There was a waterfowl in the Angler trailer. Oliver, thank you for the super chat, by the way. First live stream on Cot. Well, welcome in, man. Glad you can make it. Thanks for introducing this game to me and friends. We've played it for years now, and it's great times / memories together all through COVID and continues to deliver. That's awesome to hear, man. It's always cool to hear that people find the game through this channel or the community or anything like that. It's always, you know, that's one of the things that I'm really proud of, like, getting to help introduce the game to others who maybe wouldn't have seen it. Ooh, nice Mel. Yeah, Michael, it's just an old GPU. It's almost 4 years old, and I'm particularly rough on GPUs. Not only in the amount of hours of gameplay, but everything that I record, or everything that I have recorded over the last 4 years, has been encoded with the GPU, so that basically means well, I don't need to get too technical here, but rather than the CPU doing all the work, the GPU is doing a bunch of that work with the encoding. So not only is it displaying my graphics and dealing with all that, it's also dealing with the recording side. And then, when I make a video and I render it, it's GPU enhanced rendering, so the GPU is working there too. It's just, it's on its way out. And frankly, I guess it was a mistake on my part when I got this PC. I got an Alienware, which, you know, other than the fact that the GPU's dying now, it's always been good to me. Never had any issues with it. Holy, nice smell. But anyway, Alienware makes most of their PCs in like really tiny, compact cases, which makes it a pain to upgrade. And honestly, like the cooling situation in this PC is terrible. So I'm just getting a whole new one this time. Bigger case, way more room to upgrade in the future. And hopefully this next one that hopefully is going to be here in the next, ideally 2 days, but I don't see that happening based on the tracking info right now. Hopefully that one's, you know, 6 to 8 years, including upgrades and stuff, rather than, you know, buying a full new one in 4 years again. Will you ever do a face reveal? If you watch any of my real-life hunting content, my face reveals are in such things. I have a 1080 Ti, by the way, I saw somebody ask there. Let us grieve for Flinter's GPU has been a legend for 4 years. A lot of content that that GPU has helped to make. Shadow's awake now. Favorite gun in game? It's probably the AR-10 308, but you know, recency bias. She's such a goofy little dog. Like, she was jumping up to my chair, clawing my arms, trying to see up higher, and now she's back in her bed, trying to sleep again. Little weirdo. So we did talk about that a bit, if the angler would add bow fishing. And what I said was, I think there's a legitimate chance of that. Because it's made by Expansive Worlds, and because it seems to be on the same engine. I could be wrong, but it looks to be. It should be pretty easy to maybe, for lack of a better term, swap elements between the Hunter Call the Wild and Call the Wild the Angler. So I think they could just take the bow model from Call the Wild and put it in the Angler, and you know, there's still a bunch of mechanics that need to go into proper bow fishing, but that would be a huge start already having a bow that has those animations and stuff. And I think the same could be said about like the boats and the jeeps that we saw in the Angler trailer. Maybe one day they migrate to Call the Wild. You're gonna have to run, Kyla. Goodness gracious. At least, I mean, technically your flight board's an hour. You are earlier with your section, but you probably have an hour and a half until they're done boarding. Did you ever get bored of this game? I wouldn't say I get bored of it necessarily. It gets tough to make content on though. And we're at that point right now. Like streams, I just chill. Like I'm just hanging out talking to you guys mostly, so it doesn't matter what I do. But for videos, like I don't like to make repetitive content. So, you know, I've got something like the Rooster Pheasant Grind looking for a rare over there on Rancho del Arroyo. I don't like to just literally do that day after day after day because I think it gets boring. For you guys to watch, I can do it. Like I can just go and do the same thing every day. I do that in general with like my job being YouTube. But yeah, like I get to a point where I run out of ideas because naturally over time, some of the goals that we set in Call of the Wild get accomplished, be it the Great One Red Deer or, oh, I don't know, what was another recent one? I feel like there's been some. Oh, how about the Diamond Kudu? Stuff like that gets accomplished, and that just removes things from the list of potential video ideas, I guess. But as a new map is on the horizon, and this is always what happens, all of a sudden all these new things get introduced that we can pursue, and it opens up the options again. Flying back to PA, that is why the stream is early. I have to go and pick her up in, well, I gotta leave in 20 minutes. Technically I'll leave in like a half hour, but I'm assuming a little bit of Pittsburgh traffic's gonna be happening, so if I can get going a little bit early, that'll be good. I know I just saw a little lion. Yeah, there is one. It's peeking out right there. Well, hopefully that's along, I don't know. What are you more excited for, the new Hunter map or the fishing game? I'd say I'm more excited for Reventuli Coast because I, to a degree, know what that's going to be. Because, you know, you can expect a certain level of quality and stuff from a Call of the Wild map at this point. Versus a new game, like, we don't know exactly what that's going to entail. I'm really hyped for it, don't get me wrong. But, you know, a new Call of the Wild map's obviously huge hype. I guess that wasn't a long shot, I don't know. I thought it was good. Oh, where have we not been? Getting some pretty thick pressure. I want to check here again, but I didn't see any last time. The albino grizz of the future, hopefully one day. What do you think the new great one's going to be? I was really leaning towards moose, but JaxyBeard kind of made it sound like it's not going to be moose. Brown bear, maybe? Because we're getting brown bear on Finland? Woo, 1 frame per second again. Come on, GPU. Maybe last stream you ever have to do. 20 more minutes, make it your best. I've been obsessed with Classic for a while now. I'm sad I can't play Classic right now. Literally, I can't imagine why, because I would assume even Call of the Wild on lower settings is easier to run than Classic. But I was getting about 8 frames per second earlier. So I'm, I guess, not able to play Classic till I get my new PC. That's not entirely true. I played Classic earlier today on Kyla's PC, but, you know. What I've been doing for, oh, I don't know, about a month now since I got my 200, is basically every day going and sitting on a tree stand, or in a tree stand, on Settler Creeks or White Hart Island, shooting stuff with the cable back bow, like while I edit. I can't do that right now. It's kind of a bummer. I know, it's terrible, Red Duck. I apologize. If I could stream on Kyla's PC easily, I would, but the amount of things that need to be switched around for that, I'm very hopeful this new PC is going to be here sooner rather than later. Let's obsessively check the shipping details again. It still says not share tracking. See all updates. There we go. It still only says carrier picked up the package, which means probably it hasn't gone anywhere yet. I didn't even start at Scarlet. I couldn't get going. Settler Creeks? I thought it was Settlers Creek. I don't know what it is. I think it's Settler Creeks. Also, do you buy EM? I haven't, well, when new stuff comes out, I usually do. I haven't purchased EM other than when brand new stuff comes out in a while. Usually I can win enough competitions to keep a little stash there for any small in-game purchases I make. Rip free tent, I know. Big sad. Will you make a lot of videos of the new game? I certainly intend to. I look at it probably as something that gets worked into the weekly schedule. And then maybe if it ever reaches a point where, like, let's say it just comes out with one map, and it looks like there's going to be a bunch of maps to begin with, but let's say there was only one. Maybe we catch every possible fish, maybe we get like a trophy size or whatever, however the game works, of every possible fish. What I might do is then kind of go into combo videos, so I might do like the Angler and the Hunter video combined, where I'm doing like some fishing and some hunting. Do you have phasmophobia? I do not. I've never actually heard from you. What's your favorite species in all of Call of the Wild? It depends on how you're asking the question, actually. So, if you're asking, like, my favorite to hunt, usually my answer is gray wolves. If you can get, like, a pack of 10 or something that all attack you, that can be pretty fun. I tend to enjoy that, especially with something like the 6.5 or, you know, what you might consider a lesser caliber. It can be really fun to try to fend them off. I think my favorite model is probably, like, the mountain goat or the pronghorn. I think they look really good, but they're a little less, or a little more predictable, maybe is the way to say it, than wolves. Alright, Kyla, time to put on your running shoes, get through. Oh, now I see what you mean, not fully to get out. You're in the wait 12 years, like the longest sit there and wait time of your life to pull up to the door. Where is the, oh, don't mind me. Nice, Mel. Do you think there will be a hunter-like scoring system in the Angler? Great ones would be super cool. I'm kind of hoping they don't do a medal system, but I assume there's going to be some form of scoring. There has to be. Best way to rack up money in the game, it remains to be hunting Canada geese. Now, in 8 days, when Reventually Coast releases, I wouldn't be shocked if, like, some of the goose hunting and stuff there ends up being better. But as of now, Canada geese over on Hirschfelden is still the best. Are you saying you love to eat salmon, the hunter, or to fish for salmon? Have you ever done any mountain biking? I have not. I only have like 89 diamonds. How many do you got? Let's check. 905 according to this. So the number's wrong. It's 300 less than it actually displays. Long story short, when Bloodhounds came out, they kind of messed up all the counters and gold got counted as diamonds. So, is what it is. I know, Danny Frames. I apologize. Sounds good, Kyla. I don't know if I'll get to talk to you before you get on the plane, but have a safe flight, and I'll see you in like a little over 2 hours. Cool. Ugh, God, Frames. This poor GPU is trying so hard. I really hope by the time... There's a chance that Wednesday the new PC gets here. Like I said, it doesn't look good with the tracking info, but hopefully at least by Friday's stream. We might have to cancel Wednesday's stream as things look right now. Will we ever get to see you hunt in real life, or did I just miss it? So are you asking... So my 2019 and 2020 seasons are on YouTube. You can find those right now on this channel. If you're asking about my 2021 season, that is going to be starting in 2 weeks. 2 weeks from today, I believe, it's going to be airing on Wild TV. In a week, TK's first episode's out. A week after that, my first episode, and then it kind of does a back and forth through most of the season. On occasion, he has back-to-back, or I have back-to-back episodes. But I think the way that it's going to work is Mondays, those episodes will air on Wild TV. That's a television network in like Canada and some places in Europe. They have a streaming service too, if you're interested in that. And then Fridays, so what? Let me see here. Friday, July 1st, right? Yeah, that should be the first Meat Hunter upload on the Meat Hunters channel. And the first upload on my channel is going to be July 12th-ish, I think. I'll be sure to, you know, do and add everyone in Discord and stuff. Have you ever played Farming Sim? I have. I quite enjoy that game. In 8 days, does that mean it's only on PC or PC and console? Reventually Coast? That's a sim release. All platforms getting it in 8 days. Come on, Frames, you can do it. 10 more minutes. Do you go hunting in real life? I do. Do you think there will be gold, bronze, silvers, and diamonds in the Angler? I wouldn't be surprised, but I kind of hope not. 12th-ish? Wouldn't that just be fitting? You know what else is fitting? I believe my buck video airs the week of my birthday, not on my birthday. Let me see. I think it airs like 3 days before my birthday. It should come out on Meat Hunter's Axe the day after my birthday. Will you make any Farming Sim 22 content? Maybe. There's a chance that I'm going to try to bring Sunday streams back. That could be Farming Sim. We'll just have to see. Can you say something in Spanish? I'm from Spain. Oh my god, my Spanish is so rusty. I have to think before I talk. I don't want to say something stupid. I mean, I can just say the most basic stuff. Literally. What? Wait, is it afternoon or night, technically? If I said Buenas noches, would that be correct for the current time in Spain? It might be. Largemouth bass are confirmed. Holy, holy, holy. What's the biggest thing you've killed in real life? My buck this past year is far and away the biggest thing I've shot. Uno means one. Good job. ¿Cómo estás? Estoy... Wait, what's tired again? I'm tired today. I don't remember. Bien, I'm good. How's that? If the metal system is in the Angler, I'm going to be very disappointed. I don't feel like it has a place in the Angler as much. Your voice tone changed so much since the beginning of Call of the Wild? Yeah, I don't know. There's a couple of things that have played into that. Number one is a microphone change. That certainly helped. I imagine age has something to do with it. You know, being... How did that miss? Oh, I was doing it for the wrong range, that's how. Anyway, you know, being 5 years older or whatever from when I got started in that. I'm sure that all factors in. Flinter is just Flinter in Spanish? Yeah, definitely, that's what that is. Yeah, I'll probably say something on, like, my channel, like, the day that the Meat Hunters release my real life video comes out. And it will come out on my channel as well, but, you know, certainly if you want to see that as early as possible, subscribe to the Meat Hunters channel to catch that. Is there like a scoring system for fish, etc. in real life? Like, I know animals can be metal class, what about fish? I don't know if fish are really scored in real life. Like, as far, well, you know, they're weighed and measured. That's why I don't see a point in metals, because, well, I don't know, it's tough, right? Because you can make the argument that the metals help someone who doesn't know as much about, like, you know, what a trophy insert X fish that you've never heard of before is. On the other side, maybe if there's like a spreadsheet that'll eventually come out from the community. God, 2 FPS, please. Anyway, like, those sorts of things usually are good for helping with that, but it would be nice if there was some indication of something being good sized right from the outset. We have a combined scoring in the Hunter, why not in the Angler? Combining length and weight? I mean, wouldn't be the worst thing they could do. I don't know. I don't know how you properly handle that. To me, I think you just have length and weight down to like the nearest 100th or even 1000th. That allows for a lot of variety. So, like, one of the issues with more so Call of the Wild Classic used to have this problem, but they kind of fixed it. You would get a lot of the same scores, right? Like, a bunch of people have a 358 score in Gensbuck, that is the max. But if you had rounding down to the nearest 1000th, you'd have way less of the same scores, you know, for a bunch of people, which I think would be ideal to not have. Oh. I thought that was the end there for a minute. they can make a setting to toggle to show metals or weights of the fish. Yeah, you would think that wouldn't be too difficult to handle, although a standardized scoring system of some kind would make sense for any sort of competitions or even, you know, friendly competition between fellow fisher friends. One frame per minute, literally. It's so bad. That's why I'm trying to walk more, because it doesn't seem to be as bad. I hope they add multiplayer. Well, based on the third-person animations we saw, I would like to think it's going to have multiplayer at launch. Call of the Wild did. Why did you stop playing with the Jewel guy from the old days of Call of the Wild? I don't know that there was a particular reason. I think it was just like, you know, people grow apart sometimes. I got a diamond perch. Look at my diamond perch. I don't know, it does sound a little silly, but to be fair, it would have sounded silly for, you know, to me anyway, for a diamond deer. Though technically, I know like in Europe that's fairly common, like, you're not diamond, but your deer can score bronze, silver, gold. What's with your game? My GPU is just dying. I'm surprised it's even still going at this point, but I've got a new one coming here shortly, so hopefully, I'm hoping this is the last stream where we have to have these struggles. How much cash do you think one would need for a new map setup? This one could get fairly costly with all the different decoys and tents and blinds and stuff, but I don't know. It depends on how you set it up, I guess. Can the lions actually attack you? Yeah, we almost got attacked earlier. Shot the great one 15 minutes ago on a level 9 server in multiplayer. Scored 626.55. I assume we are talking about a great one whitetail then. Pretty cool. It's amazing how many lions are down here because I never see them on my way in. Why don't they just add it to the Hunter Call of the Wild? I've explained a couple of times why I think it's probably best that they don't, but to make a long story short, the amount of new things they would have to add, and you gotta remember, the Hunter Call of the Wild wasn't made with the idea that fishing was going to be added, so there might be limitations on the Angler if they were to add it to Call of the Wild, and it also could break things in Call of the Wild from the fishing perspective, which now, I think both games end up being better off because Call of the Wild doesn't limit the Angler doesn't break Call of the Wild, it's all good. Danny, thanks for the super chat. I got a great one, horny head chub. Holy. Fishing in Call of the Wild would screw up the game? I think it could. We've seen that with bloodhounds and such, you know? Here in Canada, we call the big fish masters. So it has to be a fish bigger than a certain size, and it's a master. Interesting. Never heard of that. Way better than Fishing Planet? I think... I wouldn't say it's going to be straight away, but I think it's got definitely a shot to be. Whitetail on Rancho grinding is way better. I got 2 level 3s. What, in one herd? What are true racks? True racks basically just stands for True Random Antler Configuration System. So... basically, it's every tine has a random length, in theory a random circumference. Every rack has like a random width, and you can get different bends in the tines and stuff. It's just to ensure more variety in the antlers. Anyway, I think we are about to wrap up. You know what's funny? The internet held up beautifully today. 0 drop frames, but unfortunately, plenty of strugs for this poor GPU. So yeah, fingers crossed that we're going to have a new PC here sooner rather than later. I guess worst case I'll use Kyla's PC to record. And the only thing I'll say is, fair chance there's no Wednesday Night Classic stream because I genuinely cannot run Classic right now. But yeah, that is officially going to do it for this stream. So as always, thank you guys for watching, thanks for hanging out, thanks for all the support, and I will see you in tomorrow's video over in Classic. Bye!